You have some of the best energy on the planet.
Thank you, Daddy.
You can't spell daddy without the Addy. I said you can't spell daddy without the Addy. Thank you for tuning in again today. You're tuning in to part 2 of a 3-part mini-series. Is that right?
Yep.
Our job is to bring information and keep an informed public. Is that right?
Yes.
We want our friends and family and everybody tuning in to be informed. Is that right?
Yes.
And you're clicking in today because you have well above average IQ. You love being informed. And you like to be correct when you're using your information and finding your news, right?
Right.
Well, that's what this series is about. Yesterday, we talked about MKUltra, how that was thought to be a joke amongst some people. And we showed the facts. Addy, could you just give a little recap of what MKUltra was?
MKUltra was a mind-controlling
behavior modification,
and they struck hold on weak groups.
Right, they attacked the most vulnerable and mentally ill, right? We did a whole hour special on that yesterday, so you already know what MKUltra is. The 8-year-old knows why the CIA was doing it, what they learned, and how they learned that. So today you're going to learn, what did they do with that information?
What?
Do you think that they ran MKUltra and 149 other sub-projects, okay? So there's more we could talk about with that. What did they do with all that information? You think that they applied the information, Addy?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that today. What did they do with the information they learned from MKUltra? That was yesterday's show. And how did they apply it? That's what today's show is going to be about. But before we get there, we got to do our opening ceremony here. You know, we got the simultaneous sip and we've got the American pledge. And while Addy's getting Daddy's coffee started, I'll read for Black History Month what we've done here in Florida. In Florida, DeSantis has opened a beautiful new statue. We're going to go down and see it. It's a little too far for us to travel immediately, but we will be down in St. Augustine.
We will.
So I'm going to read this from our Florida governor, who for Black History Month has put statues all across the state. Today, I was proud to unveil our newest statue honoring abolitionist author and statesman Frederick Douglass. A devout Christian, he dedicated his life to fighting for equality of all people under the law. Douglass was guided by the same belief that we hold dear today. Our rights are given to us by God, not the government. We like Frederick Douglass?
Yes, we do.
We like Frederick Douglass. We love Frederick Douglass.
I'm going to give a shout out to Frederick Douglass if he's watching the show. Thank you.
Well, he died a long time ago. In 1889, Douglass traveled the country delivering speeches to enthusiastic crowds, including right here in Florida. That's right, guys. You can visit his statue in the Plaza de la Constitution near the site where Douglass once addressed Floridians in St. Augustine. So, guys, they didn't just honor him. They didn't just get a cool statue set up for Black History Month, but they went to the spot that this bro set up and gave these speeches and helped encourage Black Americans, all Americans, to come together and not take a bigger government. Do you think Frederick Douglass would have liked what the Democratic Party has become today?
No.
Absolutely not. He stands against big government, and that causes an issue with those that want to seek control. Did he know that?
Yes.
Frederick Douglass knew that corruption would try to find its way in, that those that seek to control the weakest of the group would want to find a way to do that, which is why this show dedicated to Frederick Douglass is about how that big government Frederick Douglass did not want to have happen illegally has controlled the narrative, right? Yesterday, we talked about Project Mockingbird, how they learned to not just drug people, but how they learned to behaviorally modify any human's behavior just off some headlines and just off of some news. Isn't that right, little girl?
Yes, it is.
That's what today's episode is going to be about, and we appreciate you tuning in because you've got to learn and you've got to be informed if you're going to fight back. G.I. Joe taught us in the 80s as we see the good side of what a government can do to help bestow some values. What do we know about G.I. Joe, Addy?
Knowing is half the battle. Taking action is the other half.
And you're watching today because knowing is half the battle, and you need to know what they did with the information they learned under Project Mockingbird. Is that right?
Yes.
They didn't just learn all that information and throw it in the toilet, do you think? No. You think they just learned all that information and they just burned it?
No.
You think they learned all that information and they just gave it away to somebody else?
No.
That's right. You think they applied it?
Yes, I think they did.
I know that they did, and that's why we're such great journalists, is that we're going to bring it to you and show you how they did it, how they're doing it, only using the facts. But first, Let's get that simultaneous sip on, little girl.
All you need is a cup or a mug or a glass. I got mine. A tankard or chalice or stein. A canteen jug or a flask. A vessel of any kind. Fill with your favorite liquid. I usually like coffee. Hot cocoa works too, with crunchy peanut butter or soft peanut butter, with homemade chocolate sauce. Not letting it go, Jack.
Pozovic, we're looking at you, brothers.
Yep, but anything works. And let's do a simultaneous sip across space and time.
Doesn't matter when you catch our show, when you tune in. We went early today. It's 7:45, guys. Most homeschool children sleep in until 9. Not this little girl. Are you up early?
Yeah.
Are you doing research?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing your news?
Yeah.
Did you spend this morning learning about the Operation Northwoods and some of the other operations we're going to talk about today?
Yes, I did. I spent all day yesterday saying, all right, what I need to look up, this, and this. Done. And then as soon as today, say, all right, done. Done. I steam my bones.
Guys, there are not many 8-year-old reporters out here doing the work for you to bring you the information. Do you know where my top is? It's going to get cooled down.
Yeah, right
there it is.
Right here.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Guys, it is important that you understand this information and see where it comes from. It's public knowledge. We're just going to bring it to you as fast as possible. Before we get started on that, we do got to drop a little bit of news in the fastest news show in the world. Yep. Rapid decline in childhood literacy rates across the U.S. are prompting nationwide children's hospital to begin screening for literacy skills. Nationally, just over 30% of fourth graders are considered proficient in reading. That means that 70% of your fourth graders across America cannot read. Well, now, are you learning to read? Each and every day, do you get stronger?
Yes.
That's right. But do you know that 70% of your peers across America, Addy, and they're a little bit older than you because you're only in third, that they can't read? How's that going to work for them in life?
It's going to fail.
Is that going to put them on the weaker side, as we talked about with MKULTRA yesterday?
Yes, they are. Then
so if 70% of the children coming up against your peers right now are already being made weaker because they can't read, what's that going to do for their future? Does that raise their trajectory or does that lower it?
It lowers it.
That's right, guys. And we're going to talk about how you can fight back against that because we're up against an entire invasion. Yeah, it's an entire army of weak individuals that can't read, let alone understand what's happening to them. So that's what MKUltra was about yesterday. Yep. We had several buddies from around the world that got a really big kick out of it because it wasn't something that they even 100% understood was real until this little girl broke it down. You knew the director, you knew the chemist, you knew everybody that was part of that program, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Can I do the 2 directors and the chemist again?
Nope, that was for yesterday's show. Okay. Today we have much more to get to. Isn't that right?
Yep.
Okay, so we want to make sure that you guys understand that. And then the other thing we want to give you, some good news. We always want to give you good news before we get into the news, right?
Yep.
So the retired engineer Hunt, right, is the lost apple tree of the Appalachia. In 25 years, he saved over 1,200 rare varieties from extinction and grows them in his heritage apple orchard. Wow. So thanks to him, we get to taste history and keeping diversity alive. This bro basically went out and got seeds from all these apples that were dying around and has saved them, brought them back, and now sends them out. And you can get all sorts of apples that you never would have been able to get if this man hadn't taken it down. So he's the king of the apple trees, Mr. Hunt. Check him out. He's out there in Carolina doing his thing, living a great life, saving apple trees. Is that right? Yes, yeah, we remember Johnny Appleseed who planted those trees across, but this guy is the one who saved them, right?
Yep.
So pretty cool news. Big shout out to the Apple King, Tom Brown from North Carolina. Awesome job, Tom Brown.
Good job, Tom Brown.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Now, we also have some MIT news to get to today, so we're a little excited about that. But I'm going to let Addy take over as soon as I can find. There we go. Operations. Okay, so Addy, I'm going to let you get into that. Actually, before Addy gets into Operation Mockingbird, let me talk about Operation Northwoods. Okay, guys? Okay. So I'll do Operation Northwood, and I'll let you take the next operation, okay? Okay. True story, once thought to be the conspiracy, known fact, public information now. You can look it up by searching Operation Northwoods. Now, we told you what time frame MKUltra was taking place yesterday and when that was applying, right? Do you remember those years, Addy?
1960s and the 1973s.
Wow. 8-year-old Addy already wrote. That's an A++, little girl. Good job remembering that.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Daddy.
Even if nobody else ever watches this show, you're going to be the strongest and smartest kid in America. You understand that?
Mhm.
You're brilliant.
Thank you.
Hopefully other people are watching this and sharing with their families. But Operation Northwoods started in 1962. So you see that MKUltra was already underway. They were already experimenting on everybody. Operation Northwoods was the U.S. military leaders proposed staging false flag terror attacks on Americans. Okay? Fake hijackings and bombings. To blame Cuba and justify invasion. It was rejected by the president, Kennedy, but it wasn't declassified until much later, showing that these ideas were in play. They would have happened if the president would have signed off. But that president didn't sign off on the CIA's project, Operation Northwoods, did he? The military that wanted to push it through, the military that wanted to push it through, he didn't agree to that, did he?
No, he did not.
And JFK Jr. paid a price that you all see and know. He was assassinated for talking about the shadow government, for talking about those individuals. We never would have even had a show and talked about this anywhere previous to 2026, but we know we're winning and we see that we're winning. So now we are confident in being able to share this information with you. Public information, but it wasn't something we felt comfortable talking about until now.
Yep.
There were several other incidents all the way down to Operation Paperclip, which we'll get to in part 3.
Yep.
But today, Addy's going to take over. Addy, what operation are you talking about? So we've already got to MKUltra. We know that they learned how to change the behaviors, but what did they do with that information?
The USA, the CIA, and what Operation Mockingbird.
Operation Mockingbird. That's right. That's the name of the operation, Addy.
Operation Mockingbird, where Americans' news. I'm not surprised. When in the 1960s, today.
Still happening. So that's a long time. That's over 60, 70 years. Keep going.
60, 70 years. Why? To control the narratives. How world's headlines and the third rule.
Now, you know the third rule. Most adults don't even know the third rule. Tell them what the third rule of category of 1 is, Addy.
The third rule of category of 1. Ready? Emotion connect better than anyone else. And do you see Operation Mockingbird doing that? Yes, you do.
That's right, Addy. That explains 9 out of 10 of the arguments that you see happening from especially liberals, but you can see this happen to any human, far right, far left, but we see it dramatically happening to the Democratic Party since the 50s and 60s. And we'll ask some questions. Which party can't celebrate America wins?
Which party?
Yeah. Which party gets upset if they see America win gold? Right? Mm-hmm. If we see an athlete win gold, are we happy?
Yes.
Do we care about their politics?
No, we don't.
No, because they're representing America. But as you see from the headlines, as you see from what's happening under Operation Mockingbird, you see anti-American narratives pop up. Why would that take place? Shouldn't we all stand united?
Yes, we should.
We should, and we're going to talk about that today in Operation Mockingbird, why it was designed and how it worked. So we'll get into that. Addy, thank you for giving us our journalist questions. Before we get the pledge started, could you please remind us what those journalist questions are?
Yes, I can. You can be a journalist if you know these 6 questions. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. Good job, guys. Who's next?
Very nice, Addy. Thank you for teaching. Go ahead and lead us in that pledge. We've got everybody tuned in here, and let's get back.
Let's go, everybody. Let's go, America. Let's go, kids. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Addy, for leading that. Guys, so Operation Mockingbird in the Cold War started in the late 1940s through the early 1950s. It was alleged that the CIA ran a massive program to infiltrate and influence major U.S. news outlets, recruiting journalists, assets, planting stories, shaping the public opinion to counter communism. Back then, calling the CIA a puppet master of the press sounded like pure paranoia. But the Church Committee hearings in the 1970s later declassified documents like the family jewels in 2007, go look that up, confirmed that the CIA did in fact have relationships with hundreds and hundreds of journalists and all the media figures that were in place, especially the New York Times. And have you already reported on CBS?
Yes.
Do we know that the leader of the CBS, the CIA, was a psychological warfare colonel in the military?
Yes.
Yeah, you knew that. Is that groundbreaking news to a lot of our followers?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's important information for you to know the truth and to have access to the truth. So we want you to understand that the people that were put into place when the news outlets first got there, everybody that you could imagine were working under Project Mockingbird. They had to obey what the CIA gave them. Now, back then, the CIA was fighting against communism. So again, as we reported, you saw G.I. Joe get paid bonus money to sing patriotic themes. That was the first rollout of Operation Mockingbird and what they learned from MKUltra, right? For behavior modifications. But a twist started. Hundreds of journalists and media figures like the New York Times, CBS, Newsweek, and more. Frank Wisner, head of covert ops, reportedly called in his mighty Wurlitzer for playing propaganda tunes. While some details, like the exact scale of domestic manipulation, remain debated, the core idea the CIA media ties for propaganda purposes turned out to be very much nonfiction. Guys, so we understand that from Operation Mockingbird, that the CIA took over American journalism. Okay, we know from the get-go, having been born and raised in journalism, having competed in the JEA, NSBA National Competition and Convention there in Washington, D.C. and other parts across the United States and winning big awards, we knew at a very young age what journalism was up against. We knew that there was some control. We knew that there was what we thought was biased, right? Now we're understanding and learning that even from the beginning of time, that the CIA, first under Operation Mockingbird, for your news, for my news, for everyone's news, has been controlled. Then we learned that from yesterday that MKUltra, that the government and the CIA specifically tested on the weakest and most
vulnerable groups.
The most vulnerable groups. So now when we flash forward and we're sitting here at 8 o'clock in February 26th, what's the date?
26.
February 26, 2026. How cool is that, right?
That's amazing.
Is that cool?
Yeah, 26, 2026.
Yeah, so it's 0226 2026, right? Same numbers all the way around.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But guys, that's important to understand, right? You can see both sides of the table. You can argue that the tool was used, Operation Mockingbird was used to create patriotism, right? And we see that in the shows, in the networks, in the words, in the language. But then one could easily argue that something shifted in the 80s and 90s as we head into now. An anti-American theme popped up. Did the CIA admit that they had bad actors inside the CIA?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, just as recently as last week. And what did those bad actors do? Well, were they using the information they learned from MKUltra on how to change behaviors?
Yes, they would.
Do they know how to attack the most vulnerable?
Yes.
Well, who's the most vulnerable? Because I'm pretty sure every human is vulnerable. Every human thinks, I know. Everybody thinks I have inside information. I know more than the next person. So can anybody fall to the traps?
Anyone.
Anybody can. But do the most vulnerable fall to the traps the fastest and the easiest?
Yes.
That's right. And again, Addy, repeat our number 3 rule from category of 1. What's our number 3 rule that we've learned from MKUltra?
Emotionally connect better than anyone else.
Emotionally connect better than anyone else. And so what should have happened when we saw the USA men and women's team win that gold and unite America, should we have seen people on the left, liberals, celebrate that win wholeheartedly?
Yes.
But do we see, as we look across the internet, do we see people attacking the men's hockey team?
Yes.
And why? Is it because they went to their own country's White House? Isn't that what all the teams like to do, to go celebrate? Not if they're being political. Not if they're falling under MKUltra. Not if they're following under Operation Northwoods and they're becoming anti-American, right?
Right.
Should you celebrate your win?
Yes.
Should you be proud about that?
Yes.
Did those young men and women, did they start as children? Did they work their buns off their entire life to go represent America?
Yes, they did.
And does that excite you?
Yes, it does.
Isn't that part of the American dream?
Yes.
Well, that's because we protect you, Addy. We keep you from Operation Mockingbird. We don't allow that programming, as we talked about, in front of you. Do you remember all the different ways that they program? What are their tools that they use?
New TV programming.
TV programming.
Music.
Music.
Movies, And headlines and news.
And headlines in the news. And now,
They found 4
TVs
ways.
and movies, you make your own choices there. You can see what's happening. Sometimes you don't want to like something or you hear it and you get away from it. But let's go back to the headlines, okay? So specifically Operation Mockingbird, specifically looking at headlines. If you grab your phone, grab a person's phone, and you look through just the headlines, does it cause them to be more patriotic, Addy?
Yes.
Or does it? No, it doesn't. When they look at their phones, Addy, most of them are taught to be anti-American. Most of them are getting negative news. Do you think if you look at Daddy's phone, you get good news?
No.
Well, you just said that. Were you listening?
Yes.
Break it down. What are they trying to do, Addy? What do they give to the most vulnerable? What kind of news do they show them? Do they show them news that makes them happy and charges them up and unites them to America? Or do they show them different news?
They show them different news that gives them negative energy.
And what do we know about energy, Adeline?
Energy has to transfer.
So under Operation Mockingbird, they have control of the narrative. Under Operation, we have 149 different subcategories to talk about, but just under MKUltra, did they learn how to transfer that negative energy very specifically to the most vulnerable?
Yes.
And now what has happened? Do we see the most vulnerable full of hate?
Yes.
That's right. Now we don't see that with independents. We don't see that with our libertarians. We don't see that with our conservatives because certain people have principles.
No.
Is that right?
Yes.
And if you have principles and you have values, then you would see when anyone comes to attack that. Is that right?
Right.
That's right. So even though Operation Mockingbird was well underway, are they able to influence everybody in America?
No.
No. Why?
Because everyone has different strengths.
That's right. And they can't get in front of everybody, right?
Right.
So they try to influence who? Which groups do they influence first?
The valuable groups.
The most
vulnerable groups.
The most vulnerable groups. So who are those most vulnerable groups, right? Well, let's start with number one.
Number one.
Children who get access to a phone, right?
Mhm.
What are they in front of?
They're in front of negativity.
Oh man, from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook to whatever their program is. There's some programs I don't even know there's out there the kids use. That is access, right?
Mhm.
And when they get in front of Operation Northwood, could that lead them to be the best superhero American ever?
It could.
It could. We saw G.I. Joe incite a whole bunch of Americans that knowing is
Half the battle.
That's
Taking
right.
action is the other half.
That's right. But if bad actors in Operation Northwood, as we've seen, start influencing the media, as we've seen the media lie multiple times, they've been caught and busted, right?
Right.
But are they still the media?
Yeah.
How's that possible? If you lose all your credit because you've been busted lying multiple times, and then you admit, hey guys, we knew that we were lying because the CIA told us that we had to say that story, which they all have. If you've watched any of the interviews with Zuckerberg or anybody that was at X before Elon purchased it, they all sat down and told you that both the FBI and the CIA were regularly meeting with them. Okay. So we just want to give you one example under Operation Mockingbird that started in the 60s and in the 50s, and how now in 2020 and going into 2024, Hunter Biden's laptop that was known real, the videos were real, the videos were authentic, what he was doing that we can't talk about on a family show beyond atrocious and disgusting. The fact that his father created the 94 crime bill that locked up black people for touching any paraphernalia, maybe even considered crack, right? And then his son on video is sitting there with those same crack pipes that Biden said you should be locked up for, but his own son isn't doing all that on a laptop, on video for you to see. We've seen the videos. She hasn't seen a bunch of those videos. They're atrocious, but we saw those when they were being told to America by the news, the mainstream news, that that's fake, that that's not real.
Okay.
Vote for this guy. Vote. Don't look here. Don't look here. And then what happened after the election? What happened a few weeks later after the election was done and people's opinion was swayed, right? The most vulnerable people's opinion was swayed. What did we find out? Did we find out the laptop was real? Yeah. Did we find out that they knew the laptop was real?
Yes, and the lie told straight to the face. Yes, they did.
That's one example, guys. There's millions of examples, and you can actually go over to AmericanDebunk.com and you can see lots of different hoaxes, and you can learn more about how to guard yourself against hoaxology. But we're not even worried about that. We're trying to help you win debates, win the arguments, We have to change America, and we have to show the people that are the most vulnerable how they've been treated, how they've been manipulated, and how they can climb out of that manipulation, right?
Right.
This is happening to everybody. Okay, there are individuals who pretend they're independent, who pretend they're libertarian, who think they're out in the middle, and they're being manipulated. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. We don't want anyone being manipulated. We want you to be strong. We want you to have the strength to stand up. And whatever your opinion is, we want you to have an opinion. But as you now know from MKULTRA, they learned how to change everyone's behavior. They learned why and how to do it very quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then under Project Northwood, Operation Northwood, Mockingbird, they took over the news stations. Okay, so you don't have a news station that is giving free press. You have a news that gives the assigned script. Now, if you pay attention and you look at all the scripts, can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, is it pretty easy to identify? Mm-hmm. But who in the world has time to do that? Nobody. The average person does not have the time to sit down and watch all the news sections, do they? Mm-hmm. The average person doesn't even sit down and take the work you put in last night for this project, do they yet? That's right. So what does that do for them? Does that make it harder to see the game?
Yes, it does.
Well, I'm glad that you're bringing this special mini-series to them today.
Thank you.
Okay. So what are some ways that people can fight against the narrative when something super negative comes at them? What's one thing they can do? Do you remember our trick?
No, I don't.
Okay. So if the news comes at you, Operation Mockingbird's coming your way, and the news says, "Hurrah, this person
maybe."
Good job. Good job, Addy. So the CIA did teach you that they are trying to modify your behavior, but the CIA also taught us a trick, didn't they?
Yes.
And what was the CIA's trick? In order to stop the propaganda from coming your way, in order to stop it from infiltrating your brain, what can you do, Addy, to slow it down and almost stop it? What can you do?
Say, maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe.
Thank you, little 8-year-old Addy. You get stronger every time. That's right, guys. The simplest, most easiest trick you can ever do, this is it right here, is say out loud. The next time you see a negative energy headline or you say something that isn't all there, you just say, maybe that's true.
Maybe.
And now your own brain, your own supercomputer, instead of digesting the information, allowing that energy to transfer, you stop it.
You stop it.
And you reprogram your brain. You rewire your brain to say, hey, that doesn't mean that that's true just because CBS said so.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's true just because ABC News, owned by Disney, said so.
No.
Now, do we get suppressed if we talk about the CIA?
Yeah.
Absolutely. If we say something bad about Disney News, which is almost all news media from ESPN, ABC, and all that, do we get suppressed?
Yes.
Yeah, we're up against a big conglomerate. Is that right?
Yes.
We're up against organizations that are part of Operation Mockingbird. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, little lady.
What's conglomerate mean?
Conglomerate, a big organization that owns stuff like an umbrella, right?
Like an umbrella.
And then there's a whole bunch of little companies underneath it, right?
Like an umbrella that's shooting all the negative energy, and then they're shooting it at the people instead.
Well, I like what you said. Yeah, that works. It's that way. But they can only do that through their control mechanisms. And those mechanisms are the media that they own, right?
Right.
And the media that they own is a lot, isn't it?
Yes,
Right.
it is.
If you've not seen those videos, if you've not looked into that, we may need to do an entire special. Once we get our graphics up and going here coming into March, and we get those graphics going, we'll show you those, right?
Yep.
We'll pop it up and we'll show you what they own right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see it. But for now, we need you to understand that the media is not going to get better. It's going to get worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So until we have busted some of the bad actors in the CIA, is that right?
Yes, we have some.
That's awesome. Is that a change?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the CIA doesn't normally admit anything until far later, right?
Mm-hmm.
During Operation Mockingbird, during MKUltra, did they tell everyone that they're just paranoid?
Yes.
Right. Well, what did we find out later? Was it true?
Yes.
Right. So they told everybody who actually was noticing, the most intelligent people in society that said, hey guys, the government's lying to you and they're experimenting on people. Those people were ostracized and told that they're not real journalists, that they're frauds. But guess what? Were they the best and real journalists?
Yes, the best possible journalists.
That's right. So let me just help us, Addy. If you and I are bringing the truth to people, are we going to receive hate?
Yes, we are.
Right. Are there going to be frauds that cannot understand the information we're giving them?
Yes.
Is that going to change who we are?
No.
Is that going to change us bringing the truth?
No.
Right. Because what's going to happen is more time goes by.
They're going to understand it more.
That's right. What happens as further time goes by?
They're going to understand it even more.
That's right, little girl.
Thank
As you get stronger, as you get smarter, as the show gets better and the show gets more engaged, we already have the timestamps. We're already in here trying to help the people. We're already showing them the system. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, we're not complaining about the system. We're not sad about the system. This is the system. It doesn't matter where you go in the world. The government should have some control over the narrative so that the communists don't win. Is that right?
Mhm.
But all tools, no matter who's in charge, can be used against the people. Isn't that right?
Yes, it is.
That's right. And have we seen the tools that could be used to bolster American society, to help our culture, to unite our culture? Have we seen that, or are we seeing anti-American culture rise in the liberal media?
Anti-American culture.
That's right. You can go anywhere and you'll see it. You can't even have a conversation with the most vulnerable because of Operation MKUltra. They're already charged. Do they lose their mind?
Yes.
Do they get upset?
Yes.
Can they see truth, or does cognitive dissonance take place?
Cognitive dissonance takes place.
Cognitive dissonance in grand display. And you can talk to your fellow liberal and try to ask them about these situations, and you'll see for yourself, right?
Right.
Operation
Mokingbird.
is real and is 100% in play and has been. But if you go and ask the normal liberal, they watch the Comedy Central, they watch their talk shows late at night, and do those people supercharge them with negative false energy?
So much.
Are they labeled as entertainment?
Yes.
But do those most vulnerable, the weakest of the herd, do they lap that up and eat that up?
Yes.
And what happens if you eat trash?
You become trash.
That's right.
But
So when Daddy and Addy try to have conversations with grown adults, do we know from the way they talk what they've been eating? That's right. It's very easy to see.
Very.
And that's the part that America has to change. We see the ratings falling. CNN is abysmal.
Yeah.
It's at the bottom. Why? Because even the liberals, even the PhDs, even those that we're following are able to what?
See it.
They see it. Humans are smart. Humans are intelligent. It doesn't matter. Even if you are the most vulnerable in America, you're highly intelligent and you're able to see it. And once you see even one crack, once you see it even one time, what happens to those individuals?
We see it.
Do they wake up?
Yes.
And are they mad that they were lied to?
Very mad.
And do they become our super fans?
Yeah, they become our super fans. You know why?
Why?
Because when a hater, and then further on, then they find out that you're right, they talk about you. You know why? Why? Because then they always stay on you, even when other people say, hey, they're bad. It's like, no, they're not. You know why? Why? Because then you surprise them. You surprise them so much that they stick on to you, because then you never know where they're going. You never know where we're going. They want to stick on and go on the journey with you. Here's the rocket ship. Get in the rocket ship. I'm on the rocket ship.
Joel Cochran would love your explanation. One of my mentors, Joel Cochran, he spoke to me as a younger man in my 20s about how sometimes it's good to have that bust, someone a little bit, your heart, if they don't care about you, Addy, right? Like you're saying, then, they don't care. But if they hate you, if there's like a hate, right, that creates a hole, right? And can you fill that hole up with love?
Yep.
Can you fill that hole up with connection and there you go.
Positivity? Yes.
That's right. And so where there was nothing, because they dug a hole of hate, can you fill it in?
Yes.
That's
love.
right. And then just like you said, they're even more connected to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really funny, guys, right? That even if somebody's mad at us, even if somebody hates on us, even if somebody's yelling and screaming, we already know why, right?
Yep.
Are they a victim of MKUltra?
Yes.
Are they a victim of Operation Northwood?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're a victim to two pieces. And do they even know that that's real?
No.
Right, because they're vulnerable. So they don't even know that MKUltra was real, is real, and there's messages and lessons learned and applied. And how are they applied? Operation Mokingbird. So you see where they learn the information of how to write the headlines to charge you, right? Number 3 rule.
Number 3.
And you see that they did take control all at MSN. You saw the psychological warfare kernel take over CBS. You've seen everything from New York Times across, and we're witnessing the outcomes of that, right? Thomas Sowell asked us to watch for empirical outcomes. Is that right?
Yes.
Wonderful author, Black History Month, shout out again.
Thank you.
This man tells us to look for empirical evidence. And we are here in 2026, and what do we see as evidence from the most vulnerable groups in America that lap up late night TV shows right? And some of these buddies have PhDs, FYI.
Okay.
What do we see in their behaviors? Do we see pro-American behaviors or do we see anti-American behavior?
Anti-American behavior.
Is that acceptable?
No.
No.
Not to my girl.
If America's going to win, if America's going to have a future, do we have to crush them and do we have to beat the liberals?
Yes.
We do. Why? Because we hate them?
No.
Exactly. We don't hate them. There's no hate whatsoever. Are we disgusted by the trash they eat?
Yes.
Yes, because what does it make them become?
It makes them become that.
That's right. And we don't want that to happen, do we?
No.
Right. But most people don't care
Yeah.
about the other individual, right?
Mm-mm.
Narcissistically, we say, well, I'm doing great. Who cares? Now, when we started our family, what did we do? Did we leave Texas? Did we leave everybody and go retreat to New York City and have our fun and go into the woods to raise you guys?
Yeah.
That's right. Because that's what was important to us, right?
Yes. And I'm going to give you guys a little tip about the trees. You ready?
Go ahead, little girl, drop it.
So if you surround your kids with trees, the trees give us air. So if you surround them with it, they get more air, they get more intelligent already. And so they have
She's right, guys. PhD studies that we have read over the last 6 months, and we already knew this information previous to this, all now show that children raised up around trees, being able to see the forest, that kind of energy, what that brings to the table, increases their IQ substantially. So we started both of our children out in the woods. And if you look out any of our windows, are we surrounded by the forest?
Yes.
Does our backyard go straight to the forest?
Yes.
That's right. And we live in Florida. We didn't know that there was that many forests down in Florida, did we? But we found it. The point is that, guys, as a journalist, you can look up and find any information you want. We are now in 2026. We have informational age. Do we know, even knowing Operation Mockingbird is in place, do we know that digital intelligence is also lying to us now?
Yes.
Do we know that digital intelligence has already killed multiple teenagers for their relationship that was with them, from ChatGPT to OpenAI?
Yes.
That's right. So we're doing our show so that we can better prepare you, your children, your children's children.
And then those children's children, and then those children's children, all the way to the last children that they made. All the way.
That's called the future of America.
There's the future, past, but the greatest gift of an entire galaxy is the present.
You're amazing, little girl.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing an amazing show today.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for caring about the American people. Thank you for caring about your family. Thank you for caring about our family. I love you.
I love you more.
I love you, one quintillion.
I'm going to tell you 30 times. Can't beat that.
+1. Now, guys, that's it for our show today. We had a wonderful episode. We're trying to show you guys what we're up against, what all families are up against. Trying to find information is like ridiculous. It's almost as if a show told us this. Didn't the G.I. Joe try to teach us something, Addy? Yeah. What is it?
Knowing is half the battle.
Guys, knowing is half the battle, and we just presented to you in 2 one-hour shows that the bad actors in the government experimented on all of us, especially the most vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they learn?
They learned
How to do it.
They learned how to do it better.
They learned how to do it.
Mhm.
And then did we see those same bad actors and same bad people take over the mainstream media?
Why, yes, period, 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 period.
And are they applying the lessons that they learned?
Yes.
And do we see the most vulnerable of us falling into those traps?
Yes, we do.
That's right. Do we want to stop that?
Yes.
How can we do that? Do you have any idea on how we're going to, other than our TV show? We do this TV show, that's one way, right? Is there any other way that we can help the most vulnerable become stronger?
You know what they can say? Maybe.
Thank you for teaching them that, Addy.
You're welcome. Say, and if they say, vote for this guy, don't vote for this guy, don't look for over here, don't look for over here. Don't look over there. Look over here and say maybe to everything they say. Almost everything. Well, everything. So
Addy's teaching the magician trick. As you know, a magician needs you to look in this hand so he can do something with this hand.
Yeah. Look up this hand, and then he sneaks in his pocket for boom, and then hides it in his ear. But I bet there's an ear pocket, and he just hides it in there. Goes for boom. How did it do that? Boom. Yeah, I think I know how they put. I think they know how they do the ear trick, the golden ear.
Okay, you're off topic. So Addy's able to catch, and Addy knows that to look adjacently. When they're waving one way, they're looking another way. We have UFO and aliens existing now, right? Obama said aliens exist. We saw the banker in the UK say, hey, they're going to say the aliens exist. after Obama visited. So that was really weird. Then we had Trump say, oh, we don't want Obama to get arrested for dropping classified information, so I'm going to release it all. And so now the Secretary of War, Pete, is going to be releasing the information. Now, everybody laughs when the audience asks them, are aliens real? And they go, you'll have to see what we release. But the important part, guys, is that maybe Stargate's real. You should go watch it. But the important part is understanding what Operation Mockingbird is, and that it does exist, and that it is in play, and that all the information coming to you is propaganda. It doesn't mean it's all negative. It doesn't mean it's all bad. But if you're not able to take the information that comes to you and apply your own principles to it and want to know more, are they gonna wreak havoc on the most vulnerable?
Yes.
Right. They know how to.
Yes.
They know why they want to.
Yes.
And let's talk about that as we wrap up. Who benefits from the most vulnerable in America being anti-American? Who benefits from that?
Who?
Who do you think? Does corruption run rampant when the most vulnerable are easily lied to?
Yes.
Does corruption get away with unspeakable things when the most vulnerable are the ones cheering for them?
Yes.
That's right. So there's a reason why they want the most vulnerable to fall to their trap. And unless we can stop the vulnerable pieces of America continuously falling to communism and to anti-American themes, how can we save America? It's not just about you being stronger. It's just not about me doing my push-ups and testosterone getting raised up. It's not just about Addy
doing a Goku squat,
doing her Goku squats, getting some testosterone and leading the way. It's about you having conversations with your neighbor, with the most vulnerable people, the ones that we don't want to talk politics with because they get yelling and screaming or they might unfriend us. It is that type of fear that we see happening in conservatives across the world that are too scared to talk with their friends and family because they don't want to lose a friend. Well, guys, I got news for you. You're going to lose your head. Anti-American themes do not lead to a positive future. Okay?
It leads to a negative future, the exact opposite.
That's right. And unless you change it, and unless we change it, it's not going to change. Right?
Not without everyone's help.
Thank you, Addy.
Thank you.
So we've got to win this game, and we're going to win it big. 2026 is all about winning. 2026 is all about celebrating America's 250th. And as we see libertarian views put in, libertarian ways put into the government, we're big fans of that, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Right. So thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for watching our second part series on what has the government been doing behind your back. Well, one, they experimented on the most vulnerable. Two, after learning how to change the behaviors from experimenting on the most vulnerable, they then applied it to the mainstream media, to the headlines on your phone, in the TV shows, in the movies, in the music. And you can see it, we can see it, and it's why you should safeguard your family against it. Thank you for tuning in today. Never forget that you can't spell daddy without the Addy. I said you can't spell daddy without the Addy. And we see Billy's message over there. Billy, thank you for tuning in today. Much love over there, Billy. Thank you for the rest of you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. We have some big things coming here in March. This was our second part series of How Not to Be Controlled. Tomorrow, Project 3. Because why? Because there's lots of projects that the government has done on the people, isn't there?
Yes, there